Hi, good afternoon. My name is Joan, and today I'm going to show you how to make pan rolls with the ground meat or the kheema recipe that I showed you yesterday. What we need for the pan rolls, which are like crepes, you make a crepe and then you fill it in with either sweet or savory. Today it's going to be savory because it's going to be the ground meat that I cooked yesterday with peas and potatoes. You can go check on that recipe on YouTube. It is how to make ground meat, Indian ground meat or kheema. So for this recipe of the crepes, we need one egg. It's best if you have this egg at room temperature, or keep it out of the fridge for at least about 20 minutes or so. You need about a quarter teaspoon of, or a little more than a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper, it's optional. You need about quarter cup of milk. I use whole milk, but you can use, a 2% fat free, or some people even use water. And then I'm going to show you how I do this. I use a whisk, so that prevents lumps in the batter. And this is a 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. You can also mix buckwheat flour and all-purpose flour, or you can also use whole wheat flour and mix the two. You can be a little bit adventurous with this. The egg is acts as a binder. It's always advisable to put a little flour at a time and whisk it so that no lumps are formed. But if lumps are formed, you can always strain the mixture. Now if the mixture becomes too thick, that you can add a little bit of milk or water. If the mixture becomes too thin, then you can add a little bit of flour. But make sure you whisk it properly. Now in this case, the mixture is a little too thick. You can also use it like this, but then I don't like the pan rolls. I like them to be really thin. I like the crepes to be really thin. So what I do is I add some more milk. Let me just wash this whisk. And I whisk it. Now the consistency of this batter can be like the flow of heavy cream. It's a similar consistency. It's not very thick, not very thin. I'll show it to you by dipping this. I'll show you the flow of the mix. Okay, now I don't have any lumps because I used a little flour at a time and I mixed it. So I'm done with this, so I transfer this to the sink. Now I'll bring you closer to the stove so that you can see what I'm doing. I normally use a 9.5-inch cast iron pan for making crepes, but you can also use a non-stick pan. Let me bring it closer. I made some bread in the bread machine, so I thought you'd like to have a look at it. This is my loaf of bread for tomorrow, Saturday, the weekend breakfast. Okay, there we go. You have a view of the stove. I'll try to give you a closer view. There we go. Okay, that's a closer view. What we have here is the ground meat that I made yesterday with peas and potatoes. You keep this aside. It's completely cooled and dry. It's important to make it completely cool and dry before you fill it into the crepes. I'm going to put the gas on between low and medium. Just give the pan a very light brush with olive oil or your vegetable oil. You don't cook these crepes at a very high heat, so you know, even if you use olive oil, it should be fine. Now what we need is a measure. Now each crepe, the liquid for each crepe I measure, and I put about a quarter cup into a 9.5-inch cast iron pan. And then I'll show you what I do with it. Some people like the crepes thick. I like them as thin as I can make them. So let's give it a try. Sometimes the first one doesn't turn out quite right, but the others will. So I measure it. I put it in. You can hear a slight sizzle. And then you make sure the liquid covers to make a complete crepe. If there are any holes in the crepe, no big deal. Just take a little liquid and fill it in. And let it cook. Put the heat to medium. Once one crepe is ready, then the others get ready really fast. It has to get sort of seasoned with the first one. I don't know if you can see it, but this is what it looks like in the pan. So we'll take it off the heat and give it a little flip once it's done. I have to put the light on. You can test to see whether it's done. Sometimes you can see a brownish color appearing, and sometimes it just folds across from the sides of the pan. Now this particular pan roll, like we call it back home in India, you can stuff it with a sweet stuffing too, which we normally use jaggery, which you get from the Indian stores, a sort of a molasses, but it's a solid form. And we mix it with either desiccated or fresh coconut and cardamom seeds, and we stuff it into the pan roll. But for those pan rolls, we use a little bit of sugar into the crepe mix and not pepper like we did this time. Pepper is just for the savory ones, and sugar, like you see, it's coming off the pan right now. You just tease it at the sides a little bit and test it to see whether it's coming off. Sometimes you can even lift it with your hand and pull it across the pan. That comes with a little bit of practice. Make sure you put a very, very light coating of oil. You see it's coming off? You see that? You gently tease it off, and you can actually lift it off with your fingers, or you can use a wide spatula and give it a flip. I like to give it a flip once. I want you to see what it looks like. Okay, it's smelling great. This is what it looks like. Okay, just keep it on one side, the other side for about like 15 seconds. Alright, and then you pick it up and flip it. Now the pan is ready for the next one. I'll just make one more, and then I'll show you how to stuff it. Okay, while this one's getting ready, I'll show you how to stuff the early one. So it's a quarter cup of mix. You pour it. Don't know if you heard the sizzle, and then quickly give the pan a turn. And like I said, don't worry about holes and stuff like that. It's just, you know, fill it in. It's tasty either way. let me show you now how to fill the crepe. I don't know if you have a good view, but here's the crepe. Here's the mixture. Right, can you see? Okay, now what you do is one side of the crepe, you place the mixture in. Okay, fold it over on one side, fold it over on the other side, fold it across this way, hold these down or press it down a little bit, it stays in place, and roll it across. Okay, so that's the first one done. Let's check our crepe and see if it's ready. Okay, let's check. Oh yeah, it's ready. You see how quickly the second one gets done? Once you do the first one, all the other ones are done pretty fast. So pick it up, flip it. And then what I like to do, not all the time, but sometimes it tastes good. You brush a little bit of oil on your pan and then you just pan fry each crepe lightly on both sides. It makes a big difference, but if you want to cut down on your oil and stuff like that, then you know that's an optional thing. So now I pick this crepe up, put it on the pan, brush the pan with a little bit of oil. I use a silicone brush. I found it very, very useful when I cook, so I can use oil sparingly. There you go. This is the next spoonful. You can pack as much as you can. Just make sure that it doesn't run out of the roll when you're rolling it over, okay? There you go. Press that down. Take this. Fold it up. Oh, you can't see it. I'm sorry. Let me start again. Fold this across, press it down. Fold this across, press it down a little bit. Fold this up here and roll it across. That's your second crepe. Now, I'm doing the pan fry thing to it. So I've put some oil in the pan. And I'm going to just put this in. And I'm going to put this one in. It's just a quick pan fry. Make sure you put it seam side down so that it doesn't open up or uncurl when it's in the warm frying pan. This is amazing. I love to eat it with tomato sauce. For me, it's a meal. It also tastes great with sweet and sour Thai chili sauce. But my favorite is tomato sauce. I'll show you what they look like. I'll give them a flip. They become nice and, you know, crisp on the outside when you fry them, when you pan fry them in this fashion. And you can make a few of them and put them in the refrigerator, you know, and then take them out, use them within a week. But when you take them out, you can give them a fry, or you can warm up the oven to about 325, and then let them toast a little bit in the oven. It tastes great. So that's my pan rolls, and I'm gonna take a taste of it. It tastes good, but don't take my word for it. Try it out.